Is the Columbus housing market finally shifting, or is it just catching its breath? The numbers so far in 2026 are telling a very different story than what we've seen in the past few years. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, this matters more than ever. Hey everyone, it's Nathan with the Klein team here in Columbus, Ohio. Today we're breaking down the March 2026 housing stats that are comparing them to the same time last year. But more importantly, I'm going to explain what these numbers actually mean for you. Let's start with sales activity. Closed sales are basically flat. In March, they were up just 0.5%, and year to date, up only 0.1%. So what does that tell us? Demand is still there, but it's not surging. Now let's look at pending contracts. They're actually down slightly for March, but up about 3% for the year so far. That tells me buyers are still active, but they're being more selective and taking a little more time. Now here's what might surprise you. Prices are still going up. The median price in March is up to $335,000, and that's a 4.7% increase from last year. We're seeing almost the exact same growth year to date. So despite slower activity, home values are still appreciating here in Central Ohio. This is not a declining market, it's just more of a balanced one. Now let's talk about one of the biggest shifts, days on market. Homes are now taking about 46 days to sell compared to the 39 days that it took last year. That's a pretty big jump. So what does that mean? Homes are sitting longer, buyers have a little bit more time, and pricing strategy matters more now than ever. We're no longer in the market where everything sells instantly. And along with that, negotiations are coming back. Sellers are getting about 96% of their original list price, which is slightly down from last year. And it might not sound like that much, but it can be a lot depending on how much your home is worth. Buyers are negotiating, inspections matter, and concessions are becoming more common. So let's take a look at inventory. We have just a little over 4,000 homes for sale, which is up about 3%. So yes, inventory is rising slightly, but the reality is we're still sitting at about a 1.6 months of supply. A balanced market is closer to 4 to 6 months. So even though things feel slower, we're still in a seller's market. New listings are also basically flat, slightly up from March, but down just a bit overall. So we're not seeing a flood of new inventory, and that's a big reason why prices are holding strong. So what's the big takeaway here? We're in a transition market, not a crash, not a boom, but a shift towards more balance. For buyers, you've got more negotiating power, less competition, and more time to make decisions. Now that is very dependent from neighborhood to neighborhood, but for sellers, pricing is everything. Presentation matters more now than it has ever, and you can't just test the market anymore. You have to make sure that you hit the market ready to go. So honestly, in the grand scheme of things, this is a much healthier market than what we've seen in the last few years. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or even building this next year, strategy matters more than timing. If you want help figuring out what this market means for you specifically, I've got a free guide that you can click on the link in my bio, or if you want to book a call with me directly, we can chat through what options look like for you. And if this was helpful, make sure that you like, subscribe, and I'll keep you updated as this market continues to shift in Columbus, Ohio. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or even building this year, having the right strategy really matters. As always, I would love to be that resource for you. My name is Nathan Klein, also known as C-Bus Nathan. I do have free guides for you to download to make sure that you are best prepared for the market that Columbus is seeing currently. If you found this video helpful and you want to know more about the Columbus market and what's going on, make sure that you like, subscribe. I put out videos every Friday. And until next week, have a great one.